Welcome back to the Overboard DM. My name's Cujo and I go overboard on everything Dungeons and Dragons and sometimes other things, but you haven't seen any of that stuff yet. Have to get through all this Caverns deep. So anyway, didn't know how to start this video off. So I'm going to start with right now. These are all the pieces to make encounters 1 through 11. And I'm showing you this first. We'll get to that underdoom. I know that's what you came here for, but I wanted you to see why I got Caverns Deep underdoom in standard paint scheme. This is the standard paint scheme. The underdoom paint scheme would look something like this. Sometimes it kind of looks cartoonish when you put it next to each other. It's supposed to be the underdeep, underdark, I should say. It looks good at some angles. It does definitely look better when it's on the table and it's got the terrain tiles and it's got a black light on it. You got a lot of glow in the dark green stuff on it. But I want to let you guys see the difference and let me know if I did the right thing. But everything you see on this table here is what I have to work with if I would have got the underdoom and the standard paint or the underdoom paint scheme. And if you see, I've got some really cool things, and there's a lot of pieces on the table. But there's 4 corner passageways over there, 1 tall arch door, which is a really cool piece. But I just have the one. You're gonna have the 1 large floor tile. You're gonna have some banks over there with walls. You got a bunch of banks over here, which is nice. I know it looks like it may be a lot, but when you're messing with banks and you're transitioning to terrain trays and tiles and whatnot, you really want a lot of those. You get a few of these cool pieces here. Those are for the hallway or the passageways. That's the inside corner. You're gonna get 1. This is kind of rare. 1 passageway that's elevation. That's a really cool piece, and I'd only have 1. Again, if I got the underdoom and the standard or in the underdoom paint scheme, how it's just not going to jive. I can't, when you put 2 pieces like that together, they don't work. So if I would have got the underdoom and underdoom paint scheme, then none of those pieces I got covered up over here that we'll get to would not go with any of these pieces. So all these pieces can only build one of the encounters that you've seen up to this point at a time. You may be able to make them bigger, of course, but if you wanted to replicate encounter 1, encounter 2, encounter 3, you can only build 1 encounter at a time. But with all these pieces, like I said, you'll probably be able to build something bigger. Maybe you can even squeak out a couple different encounters because there's so many pieces. Encounters 12 is the ice theme. I've already done a video on that. Those tiles, again, aren't compatible. There's some transition pieces that are really cool that will help it blend together, but you can't put them side by side and just make it work and look good. And then you have the Crystal Caverns, which is encounter 13. That's where I got these pieces from that I'm showing you right now. They're like purpley blue with some teal paint scheme on it. I only have that in the underdoom paint scheme, which is kind of my problem. I wish I had a little bit more of that color scheme, but just not as much as underdoom gives you. Because then everything I build for my players would pretty much be an underdoom theme because I have so many pieces. When you see how big this set is to my left here, it might be your right, I'm not sure, but it's this way. There's a lot of pieces. So I had a choice when I backed the Kickstarter. Do I want to get underdoom in original paint scheme, standard cavern? That means that all the pieces that you're about to see will be working with these, all the same paint scheme in the standard cavern. I won't have the special underdark. I knew that going in that I was going to kind of screw with my crystal caverns, where I wasn't going to have any more pieces to go with it. But, you know, that is what it is. Then the final set would be the Encounter 15, which is Dread Hollow, and that's the outside forest, which I already knew nothing was going to go with that. You can build some caverns off of it and some of the holes and whatnot. So, you know, with what's here, I would have probably, spending this much money on this Kickstarter, I probably would have been a little bit unhappy. There's so many cool pieces with this Caverns, as you've seen through all my videos, and maybe you watch some of the Dwarven Forge videos from the actual, you know, manufacturer. They're really cool people, by the way. I like watching some of their stuff, but there's a lot of cool pieces. But man, having everything from Underdoom and the standard paint scheme gives me endless power. That gives me all these pieces to make whatever you want to build in a cavern. I mean, it's endless. I do wish I had a little bit of Underdark pieces though, just to kind of help my caverns out, or my crystal cavern out. Again, because it's just so many little pieces and not a lot of floor space. And if you watch my video, you know, I talk about the crystal party, because it's really, you know, hardly any place to step in there. It's just mostly crystals. So without further ado, I'm not going to go into detail here. I just wanted to let you know this is everything. When you see this, plus what I'm about to show you, that's everything I have from Caverns Deep, minus, of course, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And a few odds and end pieces, like, you know, the boat and the bridge, and I don't have all that out here. I just have the cavern pieces out here, the floors, the walls, and all that good stuff. None of the other little fiddly bits and specialty parts and pieces and stuff. So I think I'm gonna go to the next. All right, we're gonna start off here with the extras. For some reason, I've got a extra 12 by 12 tile. In the directions, it was showing me that I was going to have a couple extra smaller tiles. I don't have them. I checked everywhere. All I have is an extra 12 by 12, so maybe something changed. So I set all the pieces here. All these, like, again, all these pieces here would also be in the Underdoom paint scheme. You get a couple more of those nice 3D building blocks, and a standard building block with a trapdoor. When I say 3D, I mean it's got some texture to it. Whoop, I'm a little bit out of camera there. All right. Then a standard, it's more of a building block, or you can sub it into a floor, and then, you know, you got your trapdoor. You know, a couple mushroom walls. Whoop, mushroom walls, standard wall fill in. They fill in like hallways, passageways. I always say hallways. You know, I'm not going to show you everything when we get to the Caverns Deep, the Underdoom. I'm always saying Caverns Deep too. But it'll block off a passageway, or they're just used for freestanding walls. And you get these extra bits here, different doors, trifecta piece, a standard little door, a couple more standoffs. You're gonna get a bunch of them in this set. You know, another secret door. We've seen this in my last set. But all this would be an Underdoom paint scheme. So remember what I just showed you a minute ago, that all that is standard paint scheme, and this would be Underdoom if I got it in standard though. You're gonna get this really cool miniature. Make sure I keep this in camera. And he comes off. Pretty cool. So if you kill the beast, you can, well, you could probably stand. Yeah, he'd just be standing kind of funny. But he'd be standing like a displacer beast, but almost kind of like his own style. It's not like a cat, you know, it's more like a wolf of some kind. You get a couple eldritch type purple horror things. I'm not sure what they named them, but they're really cool. You got the purple Underdark, mystery ooze or whatever, and you can have those twirling tendrils come up from that space and try to grab you if you get too close to the edge. You're going to get a bunch of extra torches, and you're going to get some mushroom lights. These are the purple mushroom lights. And a couple portcullises and stuff like that. So that's it for the extras. Oh, yeah, you get a remote with this set too. So next slide. Alright, so it starts here. You get a separate little cavern where you have your entrance to the underdoom. And again, picture this in underdoom paint scheme. You know, it's going to be that purple color. And also when you're looking at all this stuff, keep in mind that if all this was in that purple paint scheme, it's not going to go with any of my other stuff. Alright, so you get 2 light up doors, portals, that you have to make a decision which portal do you go through. And then you'll roll a dice. And you don't know where you're going to go. Do you all go through the same one? Does it even matter? You know, that's up for you to decide. They have a pre-written adventure that they made, and I think it's free to download. I probably did download it already, but obviously I haven't run it. But I do remember him walking through it, and it will portal you into the board at various locations. It is just a basic little room. You're gonna get a couple cool pieces, some trifecta pieces, some corners, a nice passageway with an arch, and then these 2, I'll take one out so you can take a look at it. Nice little fill-in piece for a door or a passageway, and there's just a little switch on it. Really nice, really cool. You can use these in all kinds of stuff, or all kinds of adventures that you make yourself. So you got your dwarf here and my daughter's elf, and they both choose to enter the portals together. They count to 3.
3, 2, 1.
And they go in. Wait a minute, I want to come too. And all of a sudden, you see a furball jump through one of the portals, and he rolls a die. Okay, now the elf just came through this portal right here. There's some crystals, lights mounted to the walls that are just glowing. They're not lights. They're actually light. They're actually LEDs, but that's not how you would describe it. Some crystals are glowing with light coming out of the walls. The whole room is lit up with some crystals. There's a vein of crystals to your right as you come through the portal. And with the remote we had earlier, you can change that to whatever color you are interested in. Let's see, we got it. And it can have a little cycle. If you do that, you can have it to where it's a fade, and it'll fade through all the colors. This is kind of crazy stuff. Just like if you watch the Crystal Cavern video, you'll see how much difference you can sync them all so that they all will do whatever you tell it to do. So anyway, this is portal number 1. As you can see, the elf rolled, and this is where she ended up. And she may end up trotting over here and realize there's a pit in front of her, and that is a gibbering mouther pit as she looks over the edge. And she doesn't see a safe way around, so maybe she tries to come around the backside, and maybe you can go ahead and, you know, if there's anything special with those crystals, if it does anything to her, who knows. Maybe she doesn't want to chance it, so she tries to go back through the portal because she doesn't see anybody else coming through, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's a one-way portal. So now she knows she's screwed and has to go through that way. She can come down here. Let's say she gets past that somehow, but she is all by herself. So in this particular setup, you can split the party with a dice roll. So how hard you make it is up to you. I forget, like I said, you have to look at the pre-written adventure, but this is just one scenario. Obviously, you can do whatever you want to do. If she makes it past that gibbering mouther pit and comes up here, you'll see just off camera. Let me adjust it a little bit. Let me zoom out and turn, and you have a secret door passageway right here. And if she comes in here, there you can see on the wall here, it's a magnetic wall piece like from the last thing there, but it'll have a gem on it. I believe it's supposed to have the gem. I hope I didn't mess up. Chained to the wall, which is really cool. Make sure I get that detail in there. Again, when you're looking at all these pieces, I got a whole lot of pieces I got to scan around. All this would be in that underdoom paint, and I would be kind of stuck only running adventures in the underdark type scheme. All right, so let's see where our other friends went. Oh, Mr. Dwarf. You went through the portal, and now you are in a room that is very dark. And as you feel around, because, hey, you're a dwarf and you can kind of see in the dark, because every race sees in the dark, except those damn humans. You see a trapdoor in the floor. You could try to access that. I don't have anything in there, obviously, but you can put something special in there if you want, or you can have it to where it's just a basement. You can have it to where, you name it. It's locked. He picks it, all that good stuff. Maybe there's a piece of treasure in there. But he sees a door in front of him, and he's able to go in it. That's it. That's up to you on if it's locked, if it's not. But he's going to realize as soon as he opens it that he's staring at a cliff face. And he has nowhere to go. And yes, what you see in front of you is a floating rock. Now, it's a very dark rock. It's almost metallic in nature. And I'll zoom one in since this is the first time you've seen one. They're almost like a metallic blue, purple, greens. That green paint I think it is iridescent. That will glow in the dark. It's got some purples and blues and kind of almost a metallic sheen to it. And you see that it's within jumping range, but you are a dwarf. And so you may struggle with that. So maybe you peek out and you try to, maybe you're going to try to scale the side and kind of work your way around, and you can do that. What you see here is one of those pieces we looked at before with the light switch on for either side. You can't do both at the same time, unfortunately. And this is one of those opportunities I could have had switch on for in the room, and then when you leave the room I could switch it back over and put it to the other side, vice versa. But you know how we talked about that in some of my other videos. So this is where the dwarf ended up, and he's got decisions to make as well, and what to do. And before I leave this scene, we'll just show you a few more pieces. I mean, you're going to have a lot of escarpment type, mountain type pieces, and a lot of more building blocks. To get some height, you're going to have a train tray under there to get some height. A lot of stilts. So you're going to get a nice stalagmite to kind of fill that. If you look at right there, it kind of fills that, tops it off, and makes it look natural and looks normal. Looks cool. And stick around, and I'm gonna do another full walkthrough with the lights on, lights off, because this is a huge set, and really want to get a good look at it. Stay tuned. Where did the Furball go? We don't know. Alright. Here's Mr. Furball. We found him. He came through another portal with his dice roll. And he is looking out into this abyss of blackness. And you can even see some tendrils trying to reach out on it and just kind of like feeling the ground for anything moving and sucking itself back down and coming back out to try to grab for more. So he's not really thinking about going toward that. He may even wander up here to get a better look, and then maybe he looks to his right. Hang on, let me back it up. He looks over to his right and sees the dwarf. Maybe, I doubt it, because those rocks are tall and that dwarf is small. But he sees that it's a hop, skip, and a jump to get across these things. He can look to the other side of the place, and he can see that there's land over there. As furballs, I do believe they see in the dark, or are furballs like humans? Maybe, I'm not, can't remember. Let's say from that vantage point, he looks around the other way. He sees a green orb glowing on top a floating rock out there in the distance. And if he looks over to his left, he can see a shadow beast attacking the elf. And he might holler out at her. She didn't even see him jump in the portal because he was so last minute. But then as she tries to escape the clutches of the shadow, oh no, there's oh no, and off camera I can't get it open. There's a pit. She goes in the pit with the gibbering mouthers and dies. Okay, all right. She doesn't die. And she sees some flumps floating around to her right, and they may actually just start floating around by her, and all of a sudden the shadow tries to grab her and ends up grabbing a flump instead, and she runs and leaps, and she makes it. She's on one of the floating rocks, and she didn't even really get a good look at it. She just had to get away, and now she's seeing her buddy that didn't even know he was coming and doesn't know where to go. Does she jump out there? I don't know. She's going to try to jump across. He says, "What in the hell you doing?" And as this is going on, they're making all kinds of racket. You hear from across the way on an icy rock that's also floating in the distance. And it's the hag from the last room that they didn't kill. She's scurried off. And now what do? She's on a floating rock. She's taking everything she's got to try to make it across. She's rolling good. She's an elf, though. Dexterity, elves, that thing. He's kind of big. He's got some big legs. Got a lot of strength. He jumps, misses, but grabs on and pulls himself up. Well, and then he falls off, and he's dead. But with these rocks are pretty cool. I'm just trying to do it with looking in the camera and not looking straight at it. Meanwhile, the dwarf is just laughing. You guys are like jumping all over those things. I'm not moving. Oh yeah, off camera. Yeah, he's right there. What do you do now? I have no idea what the dwarf is going to do. He's going to try to scurry along the edge, like I said before. And he does pretty good. He's strong. Got a lot of athletics. And he's going to chill here and go, oh, I don't know what to do. All right. So let's see if he keeps going that way, what happens. All right, so he can come down here. You're going to have mushrooms. You're going to have banks. You got some stalactites, or mites, all these floating rocks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 12 by 12 terrain trays in this set. Remember, they're double-sided. And he's got to figure out how he's going to get across that. He knows that he shouldn't go in there. He already seen the furball fall in there and die, and get resurrected. So he's got to double back. He's like, I don't know, I can't get across that. He's going to take a leap, and let's just say he makes that. So now he's in that predicament. And we come back here. Just want to let you know, I am trying to show you the terrain, not just play a game here. You're going to have some cool rock features in the center here. More floating rocks. You're going to have the natural bridge with the natural bridge piece. And some of these are from other sets too. But I don't remember this with my other sets. So I think that this is, I know it's in the ice set, but I don't think, like, remember back to my main question is, did I do the right thing and get this in standard paint scheme? Everything you're seeing here can be used. I can use it all intermeshes. So that's really cool. I'm kind of glad I did that. This is another one of those tall corner doorway pieces that I really like. So that means I get two instead of just the one, in the standard scheme. You're going to get a ton of walls. I mean, you're looking at, try to look at everything. I'm going to try to take a look over here. I'm going to lean it, zoom in. You can see the mushrooms are everywhere. And everything in this set is in this set. So, I have a mushroom grotto. All those mushroom grottos, I have all the mushrooms for that and everything that came with this. So, everything in here, I got 100% of the pieces, which is really, really neat. You got that special square right there. I've got a death kiss on it. It doesn't come with it. But, it's a light up. It lights up either white or a flickering yellow or orangish color. And you get this piece here, like a floating stone disc. You're actually going to get two of these. There's another one under here. Swing it back. Underneath the Stairway to Violence. It's kind of hidden. It kind of works. Makes it look like that whole thing is floating. Really nice. You've seen all these pieces before, like the Stairway to Violence. You only get the one topper here. I don't know if you get a bottom somewhere. I don't think so. So that's another just cool thing that you get with this set. I showed these off before. You got these glowing orbs. These are their standard floor light fixtures. And there's a whole bunch of different toppers for them. And this set has a glowing purple orb, and they're both looking at each other across the way. So maybe you need to take them out. Who knows? I mean, so let's say the dwarf somehow miraculously he falls in the ooze, and he whacks this thing and takes it out, and then all miraculously this one goes dim, and I'm not even going to turn it off. But anyway, there's a lot of cool pieces here. You can remove this and remove this floor tile, and you can see how that was built. You can set any other special floors you have, any 4x4 floor tiles. I ended up putting a castle in there just for giggles. I don't know if my arm is blocking the camera. Apologize. Oop, let me fix her up. You can do something kind of fun like that. Just kind of give you a look at everything. and you can see that jumping across, how much room it is, how much floor space you have. Now using the negative space, so using those train trays, it gives you all that space, so you can see how much table it takes up. And my table is 3 feet across, and I'm almost at the edge of the table, and I'm almost at the edge of the table over there. So I wish I had a 4 foot wide table, which I will in the future. I really love it. It's a really cool set. I'm still pretty happy. I'm still pretty happy myself that I got the standard paint scheme. Like I said, I just wish I had more underdoom paint scheme, but not too much. I'm looking for the right set to buy, the right complement. So there's a couple sets out there that I am looking at, but I need to figure out which one I really want to dump the money on and to just finish off my underdoom stuff. So I'm kind of keeping my eye open. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the underdoom paint scheme. Let me know what you think of the set. I'm sorry for the terrible narrating. Again, I'll do another walk around video here in a second, and we'll turn the lights off. There's not a ton of LEDs in this set. I know it kind of looks like it, but there really isn't. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors that light up, and then you have that one double-sided light fixture wall there. You're going to have that floor tile there, and you're going to have your stairway to balance has a light on each side of it. The stairs here in the back is going to have a pair of lights. Your door over here is going to have the 2 light fixtures. You can put crystal lights in it. You can put any of the light fixtures. Like I said, you're going to get all the torches that come with it. You're going to get the mushrooms, those blue mushrooms here. So, and this piece here also has a couple light fixtures in it. So it's not a ton of lights, not a ton of magnets, except for the magnet floor. All my pieces have magnets in them. I think that's a great option to get. I don't think I've talked about that enough. That you can get it without magnets, and you can still put it in yourself. Just for an example, that don't have it. I pick up one of the only pieces that don't have a magnet. Here, let me just pick up this here. It'll have that dimple made into the plastic, and then you just gotta buy your own magnets and put them in yourself if you feel necessary. You want to do it later. You want to save a little money up front. You want to buy it unpainted. Again, save some money up front. I bought all my Caverns stuff painted. I painted all my city builder, and yeah, really cool. I'm just looking at it with you guys. I'm looking forward to putting it away. This is the big build, and yeah. All right. Come talk to us over at Tabletop Dungeoneers and tell them that Joe sent you. And we could talk Dwarven Forge and D&D and anything else. Warhammer 40K. I'm into everything. We're a bunch of nerds over there. So, let's get into that video. Alright, one last thing before we get to the walk around video. What I forgot to mention is that if you get this set, if you were to say, I'm going to get the Underdoom set, I got the money, I don't care, I want it all, I love it, it's got a ton of pieces, whatever paint scheme you end up getting it in, whatever. It does not come with some of the other stuff. That's why I wanted the whole Kickstarter. I wanted everything. And yes, this set alone has a ton of cavern stuff. You got the mushrooms, you got the floating rocks, you got you only got the one Stairway to Violence, which like I said before, I don't see the bottom section. There may be one floating around here. I don't know. I don't think so. You're gonna get a bunch of terrain trays. You're gonna get no water terrain trays. You're not gonna get the bridge, the wooden bridge from the other set. You're not going to get the boat. You're not going to get any docks. You're not going to, have a couple different. You're not going to have a couple different pieces that you're going to really want to have, like the Stairway to Violence. Like, I'm trying to think of some other things that definitely aren't in here. Any of the water-related stuff is not in here. You're not gonna get a lot of that. You're not gonna get any of that really. So this set is really cool, but you still are gonna want to get a few other pieces. So that's why I got what I did. I got sets 1 through 15 or whatever, for 1 through 11. 1 through 11, but just enough to build them all separately. But I wanted to make sure I can build them all, because if I can build them all, that means I would have the bridge, I would have the boat, I would have all the other cool things that are unique to some of those sets. The water tiles, acid tiles, this tile, that tile. I got all kinds of terrain trays to make sure I can build all those other sets. If I can build all those other sets, I know I have all the specialty pieces that may only come in one of those smaller encounters. And then I knew if I got this in the standard paint scheme, I know that it would just amplify everything else that I could I built with 1 through 11. So with that said, I just want to make sure I got that clear. I almost forgot that. It's very important. So let's get on with it. Roll the footage. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Real quick, guys, before we get to the final thing, I was breaking it all down, and I realized I said twice in the video that I didn't see that they had the lower set to the Stairway to Violence. This is the top part here, really cool piece, and I said we didn't have this in the set, and it is in there. When I broke it all down, I found it. So that means I have 3 complete stacks of Stairway to Violences. Again, this one would be in the underdoom paint scheme, and the other 2 would be normal. So that's kind of something I missed out on by not having this in that underdark type purpley paint scheme. But oh well, guess it sucks. But just wanted to clear that up.